So today we are going to learn a new concept. Earlier classes just I given information about what is a servlet and what are the life cycle of a servlet and then how servlets will work like that. Now today we will learn another concept that is called managing sessions in servlets and understanding about cookies, okay, and different techniques for session management. This is very much a simple concept which it has 4 different techniques are there. By using 4 different techniques we can able to get we can able to manage sessions, okay. I think you already watched my videos which I make like what is meant by sessions and how sessions will work and what is meant by cookie and how the cookie will work in PHP. Okay, the same concepts will refer here. I mean the same information about session and cookies will be refer here. So the same concepts are same, but the programming part that is different. Okay, now let's see what is meant by a simple way. What is meant by session? Session simply means a particular interval of a time, like session tracking is way to maintain a state, that means a data of a user. It is also known as session management in a servlet. Okay, so a session tracking or session management is an important feature of modern web applications which allows the server to remember its clients. So by keeping a session for each user, a server can serve a client better. Okay, and here it is also help in safety, security and personalization and must for certain kind of web applications. For example, if you consider like e-commerce sites like Amazon, eBay, which stores item selected by the user for purchase in a shopping cart. So even after a user is login out. Okay. So here, since HTTP is a stateless protocol, there is no way to know that two HTTP requests are related to each other. That is, they are coming from the same client or they are a part of the same process. The session tracking is a mechanism that servlets and Java web applications use to maintain a state about a series of requests from the same user across some period of time. So by keeping a session, an e-commerce site can maintain add to cart facility and also keep tracks of how you interact with an application, since HTTP doesn't provide a default way to track sessions. So there are some non-standard ways to manage sessions in a servlet JSP based application. Let's have a look close to them, like managing sessions in servlets. Like we all know that HTTP is a stateless protocol. All requests and responses are independent, but sometimes you need to keep track of client's activity across multiple requests. For example, when your user logins into your website, like not matter on which web page he visits after login, his credential will be with the server. So until he log out, so this is managed by creating a sessions. Session management is a mechanism used by the web container to store information for a particular user. So of course, again, let's see how session will work. In PHP video, I clearly mentioned how session will work. In the same way, let's see how session will work means. So simple thing here, for each and every client request which it identifies, the server side which it identifies on Apache web container, it creates one session ID for that client request. With an ID called 123 here, and if it is okay, then if another client is requesting another request for the server, then again by using a servlet program, by executing web container in a server itself, it creates another session ID for another client. So if one client is accessing the request, the same session ID will be respond back to the client. If another new client is requesting content, another new session ID it will create like that. For each and every client, different clients, different unique ID will be creates. Okay, this is how session ID, how session will work. So let's see, there are 4 different techniques used by a session servlet application for a session management. There are as follows, like cookies and hidden form fields and URL rewriting and HTTP sessions. So normally you already know that cookie is nothing but it's a small piece of file which contains an information like you can able to track easily visitor info. You can able to track visitor information easily. And hidden form field nothing but here by using input type equal to hidden, so the form field can be enabled. Based on that also you can able to track the user information. And third one, that is URL rewriting, means it appends the additional value and it will render to another page. So by using that also you can able to track session easily. HTTP session nothing but it is used to store entire session with a specific client and you can able to retrieve or you can able to store or you can able to remove attributes from using HTTP session object. So let's see clear information about what are the different techniques used by the Servlet application. Let's see what is a HTTP session first. So here Servlets provides a HTTP session interface which provides a way to identify a user across more than one page request or a visit to the website and to store information about that user. The Servlet container uses this interface to create a session between a HTTP client and a HTTP server. The session persists for a specified time period across more than one connection or a page request from the user. This is how a session works here. A HTTP session object is used to store entire session with a specific client. We can store, retrieve and remove attribute from HTTP session object. So remember here how session works means on client first request the web container generates a unique session ID and gives it back to the client with a response. So this is a temporary session created by the web container. The client sends back session ID with an each request making it easier for a web container to identify where the request is coming from. So the web container uses this ID, finds the matching session with the ID and associates the session with a request. So this is how the session will HTTP session works. Let's see some important methods of HTTP session. So that is, first one is get creation time, get ID, get last accessed time, get a max inactive interval, and last one is invalidate. So let's see what is meant by get creation time. Get creation time nothing but here which it returns the time when session was created, like measured in milliseconds since midnight January 1, 1970 GMT like. So and what about get ID means it returns a string containing the unique identifier assigned to the session. And last, get last access time nothing but which it returns last time the client sent a request associated with the session. And one more get max inactive interval means it returns a maximum time interval in a seconds. And last one, that is invalidate, that will destroy the session. So let's see what's an HTTP session interface. To creating a session, how to get a pre-existing session and how to destroy a session by using HTTP session method. Let's see first one, creating a session nothing but HTTP session is a class here which it creates one object for a session. By using request.get session, here the method returns session if the session is already exist, and it returns a existing session with else or create a new session. And here the same thing which it is, if it is set it as true, then always it returns new session. Okay, if you want to get like existing session, that directly no need to pass like a true, directly you can use like request.get session. So how to get a pre-existing session, like you can able directly you can pass a value parameter as false also, which it returns a pre-existing session. And last one, that is destroying a session. By calling an object called session, by applying a method called invalidate, then it automatically destroys a session. Let's see second method, second technique, that is called using cookies for a session management. As you all know that cookies are a small piece of information that are sent in a response from the web server to the client. So cookies are a simplest technique used for storing client side, and cookies are stored on client's computer. They have at lifetime and are destroyed by the client browser at the end of the lifespan. So normally cookies, which it has two types, as you all know, that persistent cookie and temporary cookie. A temporary cookie is nothing but if you close a web browser or if you shut down a computer, then definitely the cookie values will be erased. And consider like if you have like a persistent cookie, means a permanent cookie which it stores permanently. We have to specify, we have to code there, we have to specify time expiry, then only based on the time expiry the cookie will be erased. Okay, consider like if you have a registration form like a name and a password, if you enter a value like a password, and if you click submit button, then the servlet will execute. If password is 123, then it will go for another page. If it is not, then it won't go for another page. Whatever the password you entered 1234, which it validates and it stores information in a unique format. So and cookies are created by using cookies class present in a Servlet API application programming interface, which it has different classes, and cookies are added to a response object using a add cookie method. And you can have like another method called the get cookie method is used to access cookies that are added in to response object. So here create how to create cookie, and how to set lifespan of a cookie, and how to send cookie value, and how to get, let's see that concept. So cookie is a class here. In the same way, Widget creates one object called ck, that is cookie, that is creating a new cookie object. And by using a new cookie, then we have to pass the key and value pair like that, that is username and the name. For example, if you consider like college name, then you can use like WEMO Institute of Technology. Okay, and one more thing, like here you can set up a lifespan for a cookie. So you can set maximum age of a cookie, like by this time I have to expire the cookie values. So you can able to set by calling an object called ck with set max age, which can able to set maximum age of a cookie 30 into 60 like that. Okay, and how to send a cookie to the client. So by adding a cookie to a response object like a response.add cookie with an object whatever you created, like ck, that is you have to pass a parameter for that, for add cookie. It sends the cookie to the client. And how to get a cookies from the client request, global variable which it is there, that is called cookie, with you can have to pass like a object by using request.get cookies. You can able to get a cookie for a request object. So that is how the cookies will create, and the cookies will send the information to another. Let's see another technique, that is called using URL rewriting for session management. So if the client has disabled cookies in the browser, then session management using a cookie won't work. So in that case, URL rewriting can be used as a backup. So URL rewriting will always work. So here the URL rewriting is a better way to maintain sessions, and it works even when browsers don't support cookies. So the drawback of URL rewriting is that you would have to generate every URL dynamically to assign a session ID. So even in case of a simple static HTML page also, you have to generate, you have to assign a session ID for that. So here in URL rewriting, a token, that is a parameter, is added at the end of the URL, and the token consists of a name and value pair, is separated by using a symbol called the equal sign. So here an example I given, like for example, hello, here a question mark, ID equal to 123, and user equal to Alex. So here URL nothing but which it has uniform resource locator with maybe signup.php page, or signup.html page, or signup.java, whatever it is there, you can able to mention there. That's an URL part, and which it appends with question mark, which adds a value like cookie value and pair, key and value pair, or name and value pair, which it assigns the value like by using equal to sign. ID is a parameter name, and value is parameter value, that is 123. Here two parameters are there. By like this you can able to pass URL in a URL itself, you have to pass parameter name and a value. So like that also you can able to track sessions information, you can able to manage sessions like in a servlets. Okay. Let's see another technique that is called using a hidden form field for session management. Here this is one of the oldest way to do session tracking in a serverless application. Similar to a URL rewriting, the server embeds a new hidden form fields in every dynamically generated form page for a client. So when the client submits a form to the server, the hidden form fields identify the client. So here the web server can send a hidden HTML form field along with the unique session ID. So for example, if you consider like a HTML part, you can have like input type equal to hidden, right? So if you specify hidden, then it automatically, if you mention like session underscore start or session value created, so in that page whatever you created a program, in that if you create this code, input type equal to hidden, name equal to session ID, value equal to 1 2 3 4 5, then automatically whatever the session that it creates, the value will be hidden. It won't visible to the user, but it stores in a cookie format, I mean a session format. Okay, so let's see here one example. It's there which it has name and password. If you enter username and password, if you click submit button, here whatever the value in a first itself, the value will be stored like 1 2 3 4 5, and then it displays another page, but it won't tell that this is a session ID I created for that, like that. Okay, so this is how the session management will work, and this is how the technique which it used by the web container to store session information for a particular user. Okay, so thank you for watching.